I've been a fan of the Dead Space series ever since it came out. The tense atmosphere, the unique monsters, and the creative weapons all make for really fun gameplay. I even liked the third game, flawed as it was. What other game is going to give you a combination Gatling rivet gun and rocket launcher? So when I saw Dead Space Martyr at my used bookstore, I had to get it, if only just to have. Well, my curiosity spiked, and after a recent binge of the Dead Space trilogy again, I decided to give the book a read. I figured it was going to be a simple, slightly better than fanfiction kind of story, because sometimes it's just fun to read mindless action stories. What I got was a slightly better than fanfiction kind of story, with a little bit of gold sprinkled on top. Dead Space Martyr came out in 2010 and was written by B.K. Evanson. Anyone who's played Dead Space is likely familiar with the name Michael Altman, who discovered the Black Marker on Earth and launched Unitology, the biggest religion in the franchise. The book details his discovery, but the story you've been told in the games is a lie. Now, I can't find anything that definitively states that this book is canon, but considering the wide range of comics and movies within this franchise, I can accept that this story is accurate. Altman starts out as a geophysicist, investigating strange readings that come from the Gulf of Mexico. The source turned out to be the Black Marker, an alien artifact that turns people into monsters. While Altman and his team may have come across the signal inadvertently, they weren't the only ones to find it. A military colonel named Markov was overseeing an exploratory and retrieval mission when he got word of Altman's group. With threats and intimidation, Altman was forced to join Markov's search, and they both made two important discoveries. One was that anyone who spent too much time near the marker was driven insane, and the second was that for some reason, Altman was immune. Altman serves as the protagonist, of course, and the book primarily follows him, shifting to other characters on occasion when it's necessary to change up perspective. He's naturally inquisitive, pursuing the marker signal to the point where it gets him into trouble with the military. He goes after the truth as best he can, and it takes a lot to get him to turn away from doing the right thing. When his warning about the marker falls on deaf ears, he takes matters into his own hands. He's a survivor, first and foremost, doing what he can to get by, but he'll take anyone who will follow along with him. He's a great protagonist, idealistic and stubborn, sure, but also smart and courageous. Altman is the type of character that makes for good novels, easy to cheer for, and trapped in an extremely dangerous situation with high stakes. If he doesn't stop the marker signal, the entire planet could be destroyed by necromorphs. The story explores several characters, many of whom were inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Altman's girlfriend Ada, for example, is just used as a bargaining chip that Markov uses to keep Altman in line. The story splits among multiple perspectives to give differing angles to different aspects of the marker and what it does to people. And honestly, that's where the book shines. While most of the book is standard sci-fi fiction, the details that the author went into in breaking down what the marker's victims went through was downright impressive. You get right into the characters' heads, see what they see, and experience their madness from their perspective. You get so involved with their distorted view that their erratic actions make a strange kind of sense. I loved those scenes most of all. They were the sprinkled gold that the book had to offer. While I'm not familiar with B.K. Evanson, if he's able to write like this, I'll have to check out more of his work. The book has a pretty slow pace overall. The narrative relies on setting up characters and creating a tense, foreboding atmosphere. While it works and stays consistent with itself until the very end when the action kicks in, I could understand if it were a little drawn out for some readers. I think the characters are written well enough and go through enough drama and turbulence to keep my attention. It fits the feel of the games, with long periods of tension, pockmarked sporadically with something explosive or devastating. The second act does drag a bit, even for me, with scenes kind of repeating just to establish a constant corrupting influence of the marker. Readers more used to an action movie pace might get bored, but there's just enough to keep most people engaged. Now, being a Dead Space property, of course there are necromorphs that pop up to tear everyone to shreds. By the end, Altman has to rise up as a leader of a budding cult that worships the marker in order to save everyone, not just in this facility, but over the entire planet. The action scenes are another highlight of the book, well worth the wait until you finally get to them. The stakes are very high, as Altman and several established side characters cobble makeshift weapons together to survive. The book holds nothing back and goes into good detail to depict the kind of damage that necromorphs specialize in. Overall, the book is pretty good. Not a bad time to be had, for sure. Fans of the Dead Space games will likely enjoy this dive into Altman's mysterious past, and the book has enough hooks and Easter eggs to keep them plowing on for more. Fans of sci-fi adventures will also find lots to enjoy. through the richly detailed settings and engaging characters. I say check this one out. So, have you read the book? What did you think? If not, do you want to read it now? Whatever your thoughts, comment below and stay tuned for more.